Good morning, all of you. Welcome to a fresh and a new session of business correspondence and reporting. My name is Jyoti, and I'm going to take a session on communication. So, I heartily welcome you all in the nice winter morning. I hope all of you are joining as quickly as possible. And of course, we'll make sure the class is interesting, it's interactive, and I get a lot to communicate with all of you, as goes the name of the session. So good morning. Tarun is here. Madat, I think that's your name. Jinal Madat. Okay, you are here. Nice to have you all. Ayushi, Nitin, very good morning to all of you. It's so nice to have so many students in class. There's so much of interaction going to happen. And I really look forward to a class where at the end of the day, we understand that both of us have really related to each other when it comes to communication. We have understood the topic and there is a lot of takeaway mutually. So I'm going to learn a lot from you. And of course, you're going to learn a lot from me. Okay, good morning, Pariksha and Shubhi. Nice to have you in class. Good morning, Lalit and Hansika. Good morning, Nikhil. Good morning, Aditi. So a big good morning to all of you who have joined. I can see a big, strong attendance. So that's great. Nice that you all are in time. So let me take you through the session, how exactly it's going to be, because I think you all are doing it for the first time and this is your first class in the whole session. So now, as the topic says, business correspondence and reporting, there is a lot of correspondence, which is nothing but talking, speaking, interacting, discussing, right? I hope you all get that. I'm sure all of you like to talk. How many of you like to talk? Come on, give me a thumbs up if you all like to talk and interact with your friends and relatives and classmates and teachers. Quickly tell me, put it in the chat box, put it in the comment section. How many of you like to talk? I'm just focusing on the word talk of communication, nothing beyond that. Quickly, you have to be very fast with answers. That's how we're going to make it interactive. If I get slow answers, the enthu goes down, then I'm not going to enjoy the class. You are not going to enjoy the class. So tell me, okay, wow. So Dhruv likes to talk. Nikhil, Nitin, wonderful. Good morning, Sadhna. Aisha, that's your name. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm trying my best to get your names correct. Rishu and Aisha. Okay, Rishu, isn't that like the K-pop thing, the heart symbol you've made? Is that a thumbs up? I don't think so. It's thumbs up. Wow. So there's so many people in class who like to talk. Very good. Now I'm changing the question completely. How many of you like to listen? How many of you like to listen to friends, but not listen to lectures? So I'm going to make sure by the end of the class, you would like to listen to lectures also. Of course, my lecture, don't even say you don't want to listen. You have to listen and you have to listen with a lot of interest. No, Rochelle, gossiping doesn't count. Probably I'm talking about meaningful talk, I think, if that's what communication would mean. Gossip, of course, you all can do anytime. So I'm not concerned about that. Okay, so is that like listening? Yes, Anamika says, I like to listen to everything as in songs and documentaries and podcasts and lectures and speeches, everything. Will that mean everything? Okay, good morning, Deepti Mai. Happy to talk to my friends. Okay, Bharat, what about talking to teachers? You wouldn't like to interact with your teachers? Wonderful. So Pranay has this beautiful quotation coming. He says, you have to be a good listener to be a good speaker. Well, that's the whole crux of communication. If you listen properly, if your listening skills are very high, if you're very patient, then you can genuinely become a good speaker. So I love that, Pranav. Thank you so much for giving me that hint. Okay, Anamika says yes. Where do you interact, Tanushka? Anywhere. I mean, it can be friends, it can be with teachers, it can be with, in your or in your college, in your office, your classmates. If you are in a hostel, then your roommates, your flatmates, anywhere. I mean, there is no dearth of communication. Okay. Hey, Bharat, thank you so much. You are Rahul. I am curious to give the lecture too. So I think that's both ways. You like to listen to learn, Tejas. Okay, now can Tejas tell me quickly, what did you learn yesterday? If I ask you in terms you want to listen to learn, what was the last thing you learned yesterday? Ashish says he loves to listen to lectures. Let me see how interested you will be towards the end. It's okay, Raj. English or no English, don't worry at all. We'll make sure that you all are in a position to speak speak well, speak grammatically correct, and you get through your exams and you get through good offices and you get through good companies. So that much of English, I will take care. Don't worry about that. Thank you so much, Sakti. That's wonderful. Of course, Rishu, I'm going to make sure, if nothing else, you're going to do very well in my subject. So that's one thing for sure I'm going to guarantee. Theoretical framework, a new topic. How did this come from, Sadhna? I don't know. We're just concerned about communication today. So please, let's leave aside theoretical frameworks. Let's come to the practical frameworks of talking. Okay, Disha has this sudden interesting fact. She's mentioned that she likes to people who are elder than you. Is that probably because you get to tell them a lot, or is that probably because you get to hear a lot from them, a lot of wisdom coming from the elders? Yes, of course, Ayushi, you are here to learn, and I'm here to teach, and I'm also here to learn a lot. You had accounting, okay. It's okay, Prince. अच्छे से English नहीं आता. Don't worry about that. Nothing can happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day. Even if you have to become a Virat Kohli or an Elon Musk, you need to work hard. You need to spend time. You need to show your dedication. That's how you will reach a stage where you are in a position to flaunt your expertise. So please give yourself time. It's a language after all, right? You cannot just say कि language नहीं आता तो आज सिखा दो कल English आ जाएगा. ऐसे नहीं होगा. It takes time, and I'm definitely going to help you wherever I can with whatever capacity I can. Okay. Yes, we're going to come to grammatical mistakes. Oh, yes, Akshata. Communication is something which is bringing spice to your life. It's like the salt and the sugar in a food. Without salt and sugar, food tastes bland. That's what communication does. Okay, Sadhna says she communicates with her seniors and they guide her probably, and they kind of bring positivity. Very good. That's interesting. That's quite motivational. The experience from elders. Okay, Shubhi, that's wonderful. Oh, yes, Kashish, I can see your messages. Don't worry. Tanushka, this subject, as in communication, the whole class is communication. That's your chapter one in this course called Business Correspondence and Reporting. If you've seen your textbook, then it's chapter one, communication. Yes, of course, Word Power Made Easy by Norman Louis. That's a good book, Raj, but that's going to help you more about vocabulary. That's not going to help you speak. That's not going to help you in speaking. Yes, Sudhanshu, I can. Good morning, Ritu. Nice to see you. Yes, Abhishek, your messages are visible. Business law introduction you studied yesterday. Okay, Ashish, thanks for telling me that. Oh, great, Tarun. I'm interested too. I hope your interest remains. So I've got to know about your understanding of communication. I've got to understand you all like to speak, you all like to listen, you all like to interact with seniors, you all like to interact with elders, you all like to gossip. So it's definitely a class. Yes, Kanishka, I'm here. Don't worry. Um, I mean, Kanishka, why would you interact with fear? You have to interact without fear. What's the fear all about? We are not facing a lion or a tiger that you have to get scared. We are not even facing any Mughal emperor that you are in a fight. It's just talking. So talk coolly, talk freely, talk with confidence. That's the only thing I need from all of you. Okay. Good morning, Jeet. Why are you late in joining? Okay. Well, Preeti, there is no syllabus. I think the syllabus is all about the syllabus is all about the course. You have the study material. So, what syllabus do I share with you? Yes, Gufran, this is the first message I've got from you. So, Jyoti, the BCR paper, why don't you all check your mocks? There are MTPs, there are RTPs. MTP means mock test papers, RTP means revision test papers. All that is there on the BOS portal. Please go have a look, check out, do some extra effort. If you're clicking here and there for YouTubes and TikToks, why don't you just make a click and see the BCR papers also? There are past papers, there is test material, there are practice questions, everything is there. So if you ask me the pattern, then I'm just going to discuss the pattern. I won't be able to take my subject then. Okay. Yes, Chetan, communication is important. Yes, we're going to do that, Narendra, general English. In free time, I used to talk with me in English. Okay, you yourself used to talk. Okay, that's great. Rishu? Hey, Anju Banu, that's wonderful. Hi. Uh, Krishna, I mean, that's that's a very rough question to ask. What do you mean by introduction or we will begin? If we have already begun, that's the class about. So don't worry. It's okay, Jeet. You have to become an extrovert. Tanushka, it's the BOS portal. I don't know what is this CDS you have mentioned. No, no. Anshuman, don't worry. It's not going to be hard at all. Manish, you can visit the site. Everything is mentioned on the site. Okay, so let's begin finally because your queries are never ending and then I'll just be answering queries and queries. So let me take you through how the class is going to be. So my first session is communication and we're going to divide it into 3 classes. Okay, I hope I'm visible enough for you to understand because unless you see the face, it's not good interaction. So you need to be sure you're seeing me. I'm going to show you slides and we're going to have a wonderful 2-hour session. So first is we're going to do communication. That's chapter 1 of your BCR. If you've seen the study material, if you don't have the physical study material in terms of hard copies, you can visit the ICAI BOS portal and it will take you through links and clicks to the exact study material, which says study material relevant for 2022-2023 exams. You can click that and you will have a list of all the chapters we have from communication, meetings, resume writing, formal communication, business emails, pressy writing, report writing, everything is there, general English. All those chapters are there in a certain order and we'll be having classes in that order. Okay. So the first topic I'm going to take is communication. Now this class has been divided into 3. So I have a class today, which of course is about, knowing what is communication, how do we actually communicate and how we're going to stand up in front of an audience when we reach a certain stage. How am I going to interact with the people, with the crowd, in a seminar, in a discussion, we do that. Second class will be dedicated to some other part of communication and similarly the third class. So I have a framework in mind how I'm going to take 3 classes. You guys are free to ask questions, give your inputs. I'm going to see your queries and your comments parallelly. So whatever discussions you want, please feel free. The only request is let's just stick to the topic. Let's not go beyond communication. I wouldn't have time for that. All of you do not have to worry about not knowing English, not speaking good English. Don't ask me questions about what is the paper going to be about. The revision tests, the mock tests are already uploaded on the site. You can have a look. Color of the pen, blue, pink, black, red, green, not a very good question at your age. Please find out these things. Okay, fine. So now let me just quickly see what's there in the query section. Otherwise, I'll begin with my presentation. Okay, so how to improve language. Everyone is loading me with this question that how do I improve my language? How do I improve my English? So before I actually start, let me tell you, when it comes to communication, you all have to speak. Unless you speak in the language you want to learn, you cannot improve it. Please remove your fear, remove your inhibitions. Don't even think anybody is testing you, anybody is judging you. Just speak freely. The best is you stand in front of a mirror, see how you talk, look at your face, look at your expressions, take up a topic and start speaking. If you think you cannot speak on a particular topic extempore, like suddenly, then you just take a newspaper and start reading it loudly and record your session. And then after you finish it, listen, and then you will understand what are the mistakes you have made. Okay. It's basically about being confident in what you know. So if you know it, suppose I give you a question in maths, you know it, you will solve it. If I give you a question in accounts, you know it, you will solve it. But suddenly, if I ask you to speak about, let's say, the status or the political conditions in South Korea and North Korea, since you've not read about it in a newspaper, you won't be able to speak about it. If I ask you, tell me something about Gujarat politics, you wouldn't know. Tell me something about Narmada Bachao Andolan, you wouldn't know, because we are not reading about it. So the very first thing is, to be a good speaker, we should have a lot of knowledge. To have a lot of knowledge, either we are interacting with people of that skill or that subject, or we are reading a lot of stuff. So reading and interaction are two things which help you improve your communication. Got it, everybody? Any doubts till now? Everybody's clear? Yes. If even if you watch English movies, you're watching Avengers, you're watching Sherlock Holmes, you're watching Enola Holmes, you're watching Netflix series, whatever you're watching, unless you speak, your language will not improve, your speaking skills will not improve. If you are watching an English series, the only thing which happens is you try and understand the accent they are using, but only understanding does not help. Finally, I have to go and speak in the office. If my boss comes and tells me, okay, there is a presentation, make it ready by 5:30, and you are going to address a new client, I can't say, okay, I know English because I've watched Netflix. No, I have to be able to speak and deliver and convince the client. For that reason, I'm saying, please start speaking in English. Okay. Oh, yes, social awareness is required. I'll suggest you books. Don't worry. Thanks, Sanskriti, Ritu, and thank you, Ravi. Crystal clear. Wonderful, Pranay. Thank you so much. Uh, so there is communication is really difficult. Tanisha says you are a good listener. You want to improve your speaking skills. We'll do that. Don't worry. Tamanna, there is nothing about making notes. You have the study material. You go through the study material, attempt the practice questions, and you are done with it. If you want to make notes, the study material is good enough from where you can derive notes, you can filter out notes, or you can visit, you can have a look at my sessions once we deliver. The sessions are loaded, they are uploaded, and then you can go through the recordings and then make notes. So notes, of course, you have to make yourself. Don't expect me to give you notes. We are not in a 12th class CBSE classroom where I'm writing on the board and you're taking down notes. This is a very objective class. You have to talk, I have to talk, you have to listen, I have to listen. That's how communication will happen. Okay. Everything about the technical aspects, about the number of questions, the marking scheme, the pen to be used, the instructions, the syllabus, the course, the chapters is there on the website. Please do the effort of visiting the BOS portal. Everything is written in detail. Let's now concentrate on the topic rather than shifting here and there. Okay. Thank you, Anushka. I hope something is going to get into all of you, and at the end of the day, we'll really feel happy about having met each other. Okay, now let's start with something very simple. I'll start my slides soon, but before that, I want to ask you, when I say communication, what's the first thing that comes to your mind with this word? What do you mean when I say communication? Okay. Is it an adjective? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adverb? What is it? Is it a preposition? Is it a conjunction? What is communication? Quickly tell me, all of you. Sanskriti, I'm waiting for an answer. Anushka, quick. Nikunj, you will improve your writing skills. Give me time. You guys have loaded me with so many questions. I don't know which ones to answer and which ones to keep aside. It's just the beginning of a class. We have 3 more classes on communication. So right from speaking skills to writing skills to listening skills to understanding skills, we do everything. Okay, let's just do it step by step. Okay, Pranay says communication is interaction. Shubhi says communication is talking. Okay, expression of thoughts. Wonderful, Krazak. That's a nice answer. Shruti, it's not a verb. Communicate is a verb. Okay, wherever there is an action taking place, it's communicate. Then that's a verb. What is a noun? Communication. So any shuns, Tion, these are nouns. Okay, very good, Javed. Well answered. Kanishka, sorry, it's not a verb. Tazeen, have you seen the mock test paper? All your answers will be solved if you see the mock test paper. So I will not have to give you marks and questions. Balaji and Sakti, please. It's not a verb. Sorry, wrong answer, but good that you tried. No problem. Okay, Rupanshi says it's about sharing ideas. That's a very good answer. That's what communication is. Okay, Aruna says it's conversation between two people. Agree. That's really correct. Interaction between individuals. Very good, Hansika. Exchange of ideas and thoughts, Nidhi says that, is the way to express our feelings and knowledge to others. Okay, Shrut. Wonderful. So all of you are giving me like really good answers. I don't know what's the problem. Then you all already know what is communication, exchange, interaction. Shlok is giving me such a good definition. Lokesh is giving me such a good definition. Ashutosh has expressed it so well. Ritu is telling me about interaction. Very good. Preeti has given me a nice. This is like full marks for this question. So if I ask you what is communication, all of you are getting full marks for this. Wonderful. Good job, guys. Very well answered. Thumbs up from my side, and you're getting full marks in this question if you answer it like this. Now, may I please ask you how many of you have copy pasted it from Google, or you're just telling me from your own understanding? That's very important. Don't just stick words from any source. Give me your inputs. I want to know what is your understanding of communication. Okay? Sharing of ideas, very good, Priya. I'm sorry, it's not a verb. Communication is a noun. We've already discussed that. So if I consolidate everything which you have told me, all your answers are so very perfect. Just that maybe because of space constraint, you haven't written everything, you've just given me bits and parts, but that's okay. I'm happy with your answers. Good, Shlok. I appreciate that. If it's your own understanding, Ayushi, Kashish, Lalit, everybody, then I appreciate that. So I don't like cheating. Don't give me any answer from Google. If you do that, I'm not taking your class. I want you to come out with your answers, your thoughts, because we are communicating at the end of the day. So I don't want to know what Google says about communication. I want to know what you say about communication. Got it? Okay. Oh, yes, Lokesh, you have to write like this only. It's basically about understanding the subject, giving me good answers, and you're getting full marks. But if you write without understanding, then nobody will like your answer. If nobody likes your answer, we are not giving you marks. Simple. Okay, chalo, let's move ahead. Now, when you say, Javed, it's the questions which will come for this chapter, communication. You can check in the revision test papers, and you can check in the mock test papers. Okay. So you will get to know what all is coming from this chapter and how the questions are framed. Got it? Okay. Fine. So one thing I wanted to ask you, everybody has given such a nice answer, full marks for the kind of answers. Nobody told me that communication is a two-way process. Isn't that important? If I'm only talking and you are just listening and there is no return happening, that is not communication. Always remember, communication is a two-way process. I'm speaking, you are listening, then you have to answer back and I will listen. So it's like sender, receiver. Unless that happens, it's a very one-sided communication, and then that nobody likes. If I keep talking and talking in class and I don't let you give me your point of view, it's a very boring class. I will never attend a class where the teacher is doing this, isn't it? Okay. Yes, Lokesh, it's there. What is the goal of BCR? Oh my God, this is like a United Nations question. Tarun has asked me, what is the goal of BCR? Well, what is BCR? First of all, it's business correspondence and reporting. Have you opened the chapters and seen through what is there? Can I ask you this back if you don't mind, Tarun? Have you ever opened and checked what is there in BCR? If you would have seen the chapters, I think you would have really known the answer. Then you won't be asking me all this. Okay, so encoding and decoding. Yes, now Sunil, now very good, Ritu. Now you guys are coming to the two-way process. So when I say two-way process, we've understood that communication is I am talking, you are listening, you are talking, I am listening. So it's like a two-way process. It's like a two-way traffic. And if it's like a one-sided traffic, there is a traffic jam. The cars are not moving. You are all standing at the signal and there is no movement happening. That's not good communication. That's blocked communication, which should never happen. Okay. Okay. Oh, yes, Purva, your answers are visible. Are Sheikh, what is the hurry? You are not writing the BCR paper. Give me time, please. I also need to deliver my lecture and then we will come how to write the BCR paper. Check the mock test paper. You will get to know how to write it. Okay. Okay. Chalo, let's move forward now. Now, so we are done with communication. Now, all of you, quickly, I want only quick answers. Okay. I'm not going to give you like 10 sweet minutes to answer. Everything has to be like reels. You all see reels, reels in TikTok and reels in whatever you see. I want them like shots and reels. You have to be as fast. Fine. Okay. Mm. Hi, Pankaj. Yes. What's the doubt, Chetan? See, unit one is contracts in the other topic. After that, we have business correspondence and reporting, in which communication is chapter one. So please scroll through and see the unit is after that. Okay. So what you have stuck to is just the first unit. After that, you have BCR ka paper. Yes, Adishri, I can see your answers. Yes, yes, Lalit, that's what I meant. Insta Reels, right? Hi, Srikanthaya. Srikanthaya, that's your name. I'm sorry if I'm getting the names wrong. Hi, Ansh. Good morning. Okay, so let's say all of you have to tell me quick question. Okay, don't give me late answers. Since we are talking about communication, we've talked about what is communication. You all gave me such nice answers. Then we talked about what exactly is the purpose when there are two people. So there is sending, receiving, coding, encoding, decoding, all that happens. Now, can you quickly tell me why do I need to communicate? What is the need for communication as a normal human being? Don't give me very big time management answers. I just want to know your opinion. Like, as a student of CA, why do you think one needs to communicate? And don't please relate yourself only to the CA domain. You can switch, you can move here and there. Give me a general answer. Okay. Okay, quickly tell me, can I ask you this question? Is movies a way of communication? You all watch movies, which talk about a social cause, which talk about an environmental cause, a political cause. Recently, we had Kashmir Files, which had a lot of hype about the things that happened in Kashmir. So, are these movies also communicating, or for that matter, are books a source of communication? Can you tell me, please? Okay, Rishu, that was interesting. Making relationships while you guys are talking like really, really high level talks. Okay, quickly tell me. Fast, fast, fast. Time is running. Everything is time based. You have to race against time. You all have to be like Usain Bolt. Lightning speed answers I want. Are movies a good way of communication? Okay, Nidhi says yes. Nidhi, can you tell me why? To tell it is part of okay to convey the message. Movie communicates, book also communicates. Okay, movies are one sided. Very good, Namrata. Movies are one sided communication. Okay, good morning, Pankaj. I'm getting your message repeatedly about you saying good morning and introducing. I've got it. I know you are Pankaj. Okay, social awareness. Very good, Lalit. That was a good answer. Sanskriti, how would movies resolve misunderstanding? I didn't get that. Can you please explain? अपनी बात पूछने के लिए लोकेश हु इज आस्किंग अपनी बात किसकी बात एक्चुअली movies and books are a good source of communication. Okay, no, it is a one way. Very good, Abhishek. It's a one way communication. Ananya, movies are a best source of communication, but don't you think if I'm watching a movie, I don't get to say anything? It's only the director and the producer and the story writer and the script writer who's telling me what am I doing when I'm watching a movie. Feedback is not there. Exactly. That's what I wanted to come to. So, Jyoti, you have just, banged on. See, we share the name Jyoti, and Jyoti has given me such a nice answer. I'm happy I have that name then. So, very good, Jyoti. What I was waiting for is when I see a movie, I don't get a chance to convey my feedback. So, feedback is very important in communication. When somebody is telling me something, whatever is coming back is basically termed as feedback. Okay, very good. So, of course, books and movies are conveying something that all of you have agreed. They're conveying something. But are we getting a chance to convey our ideas back? Is that possible? No, nobody is getting that chance. I read a book. I was recently reading a book called a book by Sherlock Holmes. I was reading the mysteries. Very good book. I really enjoyed the book. But then, how can I go and convey my thoughts? I can't do that. If I'm watching a movie, for example, I recently watched the movie Brahmastra, but how can I convey to the director that I, for some reasons, did not comprehend or did not associate with the movie? There were some loopholes, there were some glitches, there were some gaps which I thought should have been filled. I cannot do that. I can just tell my friends, "Ha, movie achhi thi, movie nahi achhi thi." That's it, isn't it? I'm not getting a chance to give a feedback. That's the reason why movies and books are considered a one-way traffic, so a one-way communication. But when I'm in a seminar, when I'm in a conference, when I'm in a meeting, when I'm in a group discussion, all that becomes two-way communication. And all this is categorized as business communication. You get it? Because we are at workplace, we are going to get more business, we are doing our daily job, we are not at home, it's not personal, it's not informal. All that comes under business communication. Got it? Anjum Banu, yes, I am seeing your message. Whenever it comes, I'll see. I probably can't read out everybody's name, but don't worry, guys, I'm getting your messages, okay? You can communicate with each other without language. Yes, Sakti, good. Okay, so are you getting my point? So we've understood what is communication. We've understood it is a two-way process. We've understood it is about giving feedback. We've understood it cannot be one way. And we have understood that communication involves language. Now let's jump on to the next part. Can you communicate without language, without words actually? Tell me how. Uh, Abhishek, it's not that there is no feedback, then there is no communication, but whatever is coming in return is called a feedback. Okay, that's how we term feedback. Oh, yes, Aditya, I'm seeing your messages. Don't worry. Khushi, yes. See, you putting this as a message. Can you see my message? I can see your message. Okay, so don't worry. I'm getting all messages. Nikhil says feedback mechanism isn't possible. I got that. What about reviews? So should be reviews. Where do I write? I write a review when it's just about me and my review, but my review is not reaching everybody, isn't it? If my review was to reach everybody, it would get published somewhere, but it's not getting published anywhere. Okay, moving on then. Tell me, how do I communicate without words, without language? Gestures, very good, Namrata, very good, Manmohan. Varnika says signals and facial expressions, wonderful. Yes, Rishu, gestures. Graph, charts, visuals, and sign language. Okay, Nikhil. Okay, Neeraj says body language, very good. Ha, Aditya says when you talk to people who are disabled with because of their ear problems or their speaking problems, when I'm talking to somebody who is hard of hearing, maybe deaf or who cannot speak, maybe dumb, then I'm going to use gestures. Very good. Gestures and symbols. Okay, Khushi, I got that. Handwriting is okay if not speaking. Okay, sign language. Preeti Kumari, feelings. Oh my God, we are not doing Hindi movies here. So feelings में expression तो आएगा ना. How will you express your feelings? By showing them on your face. So basically facial expressions. Ha, body language. Okay, Jayesh, I like that hand symbol also you've put. Wonderful. You guys are very thoughtful. ऐसे अच्छे अच्छे symbols डाल के you're telling me answers. Good, Ayushi. Para language. That's a good word. Shruti, great. Braille script to specifically for people who are, who don't have a good vision, for blind, isn't it, Pranay? Not everybody who has eyes is using Braille. So Braille बहुत segregated and बहुत specific हो गया. Let's not talk about Braille here then. coding. Shrikant, yaar, coding kaise, we are not doing codes here, software codes, or are you talking about Morse codes? That happens in a very specific domain. Day to day, we don't use codes to talk unless you guys do. I don't. Internet, pictures, okay. Speech to Kumkum, we have ruled out. Na? We don't want to talk about speech. Speech ke bina, what are the other ways of communicating? That's what my question is. Okay, Vanshika says facial expressions. Facial expressions say, how will you show that you want something? If I want you to answer quickly, if I want a glass of water, what facial expression will I do? Eye contact, okay. Pranay say by norms. Okay, that's like a broad word, by norms. Very good. Aesthetic communication. Vidnesh. Nice answer. Ha ha, Ashutosh. Messages are coming. Okay, Suresh has this wonderful answer, says WhatsApp chat. Now, if you start saying WhatsApp chat kar lo, Discord pe aa jao, Hangouts pe aa jao, that's not my domain. Okay, we are sticking ourselves to business communication. So we are not getting into that zone of friendly chat and all that. No Twitters and LinkedIn's allowed here. We are only talking about proper communication. If it's not happening by words, if I'm not talking, then I'm either writing, which is the simplest. Many of you have answered, or I'm making hand gestures, I'm making facial expressions, I'm making a certain body language, which is all termed as non-verbal communication. Got it? So non-verbal communication includes handshakes, body movements, body gestures, facial expressions, signs, symbols, all that, hand waves, etc., which does not include words. So when it comes to words, we call it verbal communication. Otherwise, we call it non-verbal communication. Verbal communication में क्या होगा? You can write or you can speak. Non-verbal में क्या होगा? You are shaking hands, you are waving, you are, doing any hand gesture or any such expression on your face which is conveying the meaning. ठीक है? Emoji, Anshuman, emoji तो फिर तभी use करोगे ना if you have a platform like that. अब office में if you're writing a mail to your boss, you're not using emojis from WhatsApp. You're not using memes also. Okay. No, Arushi, there are no notes. You can take down your own notes. Yes, Anushka, messages are coming. Okay, Preeti, emoji, Anshuman, your message is coming many times. Huh, email is good, but that's written, of course. That's good. Traffic man signal, very good, Pushpa. That's a wonderful example. See how thoughtful Pushpa has been. When you go to the road and you're traveling by road, you see this traffic personnel standing and making signs of stop and go and wait, etc. That's a best example of non-verbal communication. Good thought, Pushpa. Aesthetics mein, what do you mean, Farheen? How can you talk about aesthetics? Arushi, it's completely your choice. You want to make notes, you can. Otherwise, everything is uploaded. You can see the lecture once it is recorded and uploaded on the site. Ha, Akshata, that was wonderful. Dance is a very nice form of communication. Have you seen these classical dancers where they make such nice expressions about anger and love and, jealousy? All those mudras they make with hands and legs and face expressions. Very good. Okay, now you guys are giving me such nice answers. Awesome. I mean, after the answer coming from Pushpa, is it like Pushpa was there in some movie? No, why am I remembering the name for some movie? Tell me which movie. Let me see how smart you are in remembering movies. Pushpa. What was Pushpa? Okay. Communicate fast, please. Communication. Pushpa was where? Please, guys, you have so much to retain, so many answers to remember, so many sections and acts to remember. I hope you know. Where did I hear the name Pushpa? Sindhu, don't worry. You leave that to me when to start. I'm already doing communication. You don't have to worry about lectures. This is the best way you can interact and understand communication. So if you know, I've already started my lecture. The topics have been included: verbal, non-verbal, oral, gestures, body language, two-way communication, coding and coding. Don't worry about that. It's part of the lecture. Okay. Please start concentrating and getting the answer. Ah, now you all got it. Wonderful. Anamika, Bittu, Ashutosh, Namrata, Shruti, Bharat. Great. Yes, Krazak, it was a movie. Wonderful, Shruti. Thank you so much, Bhavneet. Very good, Shubham. Okay, so all of you know. So now I can understand that. Can I infer that you're all watching movies and this is a good way of telling me your interests? Very good. Okay, Om has recently given an answer. Om, you say advertisement. Okay. Ha, Parth. Yes, I know that's a movie. Ayushman, you take down the notes. No, I'll show you my slides. You write whatever you want to. Okay. Ha, Ritu, answers are visible. Haha. Good, Anshu. The dialogues are also on your mind. Himanshu, whatever you're writing in the comment section, no, that is the query only. Okay, so now you guys have given me such nice answers for non-verbal communication. So somebody said Bharatnatyam and Kathak classical dances. Somebody has just given me an answer. Nikhil has told me that, when you have a parliament session, so most of the members, you have to bang the table for yes and no. That's a very good gesture. Traffic signal is a very good gesture. Somebody wrote street play. That's a, nukkad natak, where you have a lot of hand movements happening. And of course, when you have this news being communicated for those who cannot hear or speak, so that happens by signal. So all your non-verbal answers are very good. And a wonderful example I've got is Mr. Bean. If you all watch Mr. Bean, this is just nice. I'm really loving it because you all have exactly come to the point I was waiting for. Music and painting, these are all ways of non-verbal communication. The only thing is, it's one sided. But yes, the creator is trying to communicate something. Very good answer. Puppet shows, yes, that's all non-verbal. There is no speech happening in non-verbal. Great. So thank you all for this wonderful interaction. Let's move on to the next step. So my bit is clear till now. We started with what is communication. I'm just taking you through a recap. Then we moved on to it's a two-way process. Then we move on to the technical aspects of sender receiver. Then we moved on to why exactly you need to communicate. And last we spoke about oral communication, which is part of verbal. And now we're going to shift to written communication, which is basically the writing part of it. Oh, yes, Charlie Chaplin. Good. So, this is the whole aspect of a subject like BCR. You don't have to worry about notes. You have to be very smart with your general awareness. And then the BCR paper is clear. The first chapter is communication. I'm repeating it. We are doing it in 3 sessions. I'm going to start my slide. We're going to talk about everything in detail. For your ease, we'll take a 5-minute break at 12 o'clock. You can just refresh yourself, have water, use the washroom, and come back. In the next half, we're going to do complete slides. Second class, we'll do a little bit of practice questions. We'll do a little bit of test your knowledge questions. Third class, I'm going to ask you questions, ask you to answer them in the comment box, and we'll also discuss some mock test papers. Okay? Clear, everybody? Any doubt till now? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to share, speak, discuss, whatever mood you have right now by writing down in the comment box? Okay, now is the slide visible? Can I quickly ask you this? Is it visible and readable? Sunil, that was quite a very aesthetic and a very emotional answer. Tear on the eye is non-verbal communication. You all are full dramatic kinds. Thank you, Pranay. Okay, best way. Wonderful. So everything is clear now. Ashutosh, Aisha, Shruti, Tarun, Tazeen. Can we move on, Shruti? Mukul? Rajendra? Yes, Sakti. Tom and Jerry is also a good example. You guys are more familiar with, I think, non-verbal ones. Maybe you're watching a lot of television. Okay, so let's move on. This is my first slide where we are discussing what is communication. So there is a sender. Some information is passing to the other person who is known as the receiver. And then when the receiver comprehends and interprets it, the information goes back. Okay. Now, when I say verbal, I have to include a lot of speech. But when I say non-verbal, I have to include a lot of signs and symbols and gestures and expressions. Okay. Now, to begin with, you can, okay, thank you very much, all of you, for all the yes that you've understood. Anjum Banu, very good. Jayesh Bittu, Vandana. Yes, yes, Vandana, your messages are visible. Thank you, Kumkum. अरे लास्ट डे रिवीजन नोट्स सुनील अभी तो फर्स्ट डे है ना व्हाई डू यू जंप टू लास्ट डे आराम से करेंगे लास्ट डे रिवीजन नोट्स थैंक यू अनुष्का आई एम एंजॉयिंग आल्सो आई अप्रिशिएट दैट यू गाइस आर आल्सो लाइकिंग इट हाँ आयुष द होल पीपीटी विल बी अपलोडेड डोंट वरी अबाउट स्लाइड्स मिल जाएगा सब ठीक है थैंक्स श्रुति फॉर टेलिंग मी द स्लाइड इज विजिबल एक्सीलेंट फरीन आई एम सेइंग एक्सीलेंट टू यू गाइस बहुत अच्छा आंसर दे रहे हैं आप लोग सब बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है विद दैट active attitude you have so you're like actively communicating in class if I can use that word ठीक है चलो quickly we'll do this now this slide is giving you a very basic information about what is communication it's a process पहले तो याद रखना it's a process wherein some information is being shared feelings can be shared and how are they being shared either by verbal messages or by non-verbal messages ठीक है so one question possible in your exam is what is communication write a short note 2 marks का होगा 3 marks का होगा 10 marks का होगा 20 marks का होगा 50 marks का होगा I am not telling you but it can be a question so you should be defining the term communication talking about verbal and non-verbal and give a little bit of examples 2-3 examples that's it ठीक है सो दिस इज वेरी वेरी बेसिक इतना हो जाएगा ना इसमें तो मुश्किल नहीं है यू कैन अटेम्प्ट आई लव द क्लास केली यू हैव मेड माय डे थैंक यू सो मच हाँ रशेल क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं सब कुछ विजिबल है डोंट वरी यस आदिति for all of you I'm repeating the ppt will be uploaded you can have a look once again after the class is over don't worry at all I am here for the next 2 classes also कुछ भी doubt है ask me 10 times अभी आराम से communication कर लो otherwise one sided होगा आप लोग पूछते रहोगे I won't be able to deliver I will keep speaking you won't be able to ask हाँ सुनील that I agree आशुतोष was taught नहीं will be taught ठीक है अभी तो पढ़ाना है ना was becomes past tense was taught मतलब I have already taught मैंने पहले ही पढ़ा दिया है अभी तो we have just started so will be taught by me yes communication will be taught by me हो जाएगा ना अंजुम very good हाँ you can use diagrams not a problem yes you have to write examples adishri example means what communication so you can say verbal communication can mean this I'll take you to the slide don't worry so I'll tell you exactly how to do it no Nikunj the way you've joined the class that's the same way why do you need a Zoom link here ठीक है this slide is okay chalo let's move on I'm making very simple slides so that you know what to answer and how to answer okay now the next is communication is a two-way process so your answers like you do in your school your answers depend on the marks weightage अगर 1 mark या 2 mark का आंसर होता है so we ask people to write less 3 mark 4 mark and higher level का आंसर होता है so we ask you to write more depending on the weightage you can check for the pattern in the MTPs and the RTPs तब आपको पता चलेगा questions कैसे आ रहे हैं if the high weightage is associated with a question on communication you have to write a short note then make it like 30 to 50 words if it's a simple 2 mark question then you can define communication you can say it's verbal and non-verbal you can give examples now how to define it usme you can start by saying it is a two-way process I want the word process communication is a process ye zarur batana hai it's not an object it's not an animal it's not a movie it's not a table it's not an association it's a process so these key words have to be there ओके, इट्स अ प्रोसेस. उस प्रोसेस में क्या होता है, देन टेल मी दैट. शेयरिंग एंड ट्रांसफरिंग ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड फीलिंग्स कैसे होता है, बाय वर्बल एंड नॉन वर्बल मेथड्स. And then tell me some examples for both the methods. That's it. This is a perfect answer. Now come to the language part of it. अगर आप अच्छी language लिख रहे हो, you will definitely get full marks. Please try and avoid grammatical errors. Okay? Highlight important points कैसे, highlighter से करना चाहते हो आयुष्मान? Subhan, I did not understand. So many questions are coming. So what is difficult? I am trying my best to answer all the doubts. कुछ भी doubt है, please भेज दो. I don't have it. Ostensible to me? Kanishka, what does ostensible mean? Do you know? Because वो word ना आपने गलत use किया है. तो please मुझे थोड़ा easily बता दो. What do you actually mean? हाँ हाँ, महावीर भाई, I can see your questions and answers. MCQ and descriptive both आएंगे. Some answers have to be written, some answers have to be opted for, like ABCD choices में से, so it will be MCQs also. Varnika, there are many questions which have to be answered in words like a paragraph. Some questions can be answered in the point wise. अरे तरुण, this is the topic. What else do I have to start? है ही ये communication में. This is from your study material only. You will get a question on why is communication a two-way process. So I'm telling you that only. Okay, so don't worry. We've already started it. But unless I answer your queries, I cannot move forward, Tarun. So please be patient. Don't hurry. I'm not supposed to hurry. You don't have to, Sindhu. I would rather suggest don't use red pens. Linear nahi, lenient, Ayushman. What kind of a question is this? Why do you expect me to answer such questions? Checking will be lenient. Checking to checking hogi na. If you answer correctly, you will get good marks. If you don't answer correctly, you lose marks. Okay. Now, how does communication happen? If you get a question on this, then what will you do? You don't have to make this picture. You can please refer to my slides and the study material. Please don't forget, both are important. Okay. So when you see this picture, there is a sender. Can you see a sender? I'll just annotate and then maybe things will be better. Okay. So this is the sender from whom the information is going. Okay. The sender is making some information and moving it here, which is encoding it, making into some code. The code is further being translated to a message which is understandable, because code समझ नहीं आएगा, but messages proper words में, proper language में समझ आएंगे. From the message, it has to be decoded. It has to come into like parts and you have to dissect the message. And that decoding finally reaches the receiver, who is going to understand it. Okay. Now, noise is both ways. If it's a spoken message, so you can see this arrow here and you can see this arrow here, which means there is noise, there is interaction, there is talking happening both ways. But if you see feedback, feedback ka arrow idhar hai, which means the feedback is coming from the receiver to the sender. So the arrow is like this. This is very similar to current and electricity. If you remember 10th mein kiya hoga, you have to make arrows. Yeah, if you have a ray diagram, you have to make arrows. इस केस में arrows both ways हो जाएंगे. First वाले केस में, feedback के केस में arrows एक direction में होंगे. So if there is a question, why do you think feedback is important for communication? You have to give an answer for that. You can say the feedback is always coming from the receiver to the sender. ठीक है? Okay. Ayushi, but आपका नाम ना महावीर भाई आ रहा है. So okay, I'll make sure I call you as Ayushi. That's okay, Kanishka. That's why I said, ostensible. Don't try and use words which you know, because galat vocabulary se na meaning completely changes. Hmm. Noise just, yeah, Sunil, exactly like a circuit. Very good. Noise is nothing but some kind of a movement in words. That's noise. I don't mean unpleasant sound, which is noise. Noise generally means there is some kind of an action of words happening. Okay? Got it, Aditya? Descriptive and MCQ. Yes, Trisha, you can draw the diagram also. Ha, Akshata, sound. Yes, Anjum. Yes, Anjum, you got it correct. Okay. So this is a slide which you have to understand. If you think you have time, you can make this picture. Also, when the question is how does communication happen, you can make this picture, and then you can explain it in your own words. Explanation is where I'm going to test your knowledge. Picture to koi bhi bana sakta hai, but how are you going to express all this in language? That's going to fetch you marks. Okay? Okay. Vasu, I've just seen your message for the first time. Should be not always, okay? Sometimes only written answers are accepted. Soumya, I think I've seen your answer for the first time. Encoding and decoding. Encoding is when you make a code out of the message. Decoding is to solve the code and understand the message. Okay? Okay, now let's go on to the next slide. This is how does communication happen. Okay, clear everybody? Sadhna, it also depends. Sometimes what happens is the answer expects you to be written. The answer expects you to write something. Only a flow chart will not be a good idea. So please don't do that. Okay? Can you what, Sakshi? Okay. Now, this is what I was asking you, which I did not probably, I just maybe left it in between. Why is communication needed? Why do you think we need to communicate for all these? Can you see these words which I've enlisted? If you see all this, ये जितना भी answer है ये red में, let me just change my color. These are all verbs. Can you see, please? I'm very bad at writing on this pad, but if you can bear with me for my handwriting, these are all verbs to express. So if I'm communicating, I have something in my mind which I want to tell you. I'm not feeling good about it. I'm feeling very good about it. That is expression. Interact is talking. Let's talk about something. Let's, break the ice and become friends. That's interaction. Preach and teach. When I have some knowledge, I want to teach you. There is some way about calculating GST, and I want to teach you that. So I'm going to use communication to bring a change. So there are certain things in the country which I'm not happy about. I want to start a revolution. So I have to stand maybe at Jantar Mantar in Delhi and start this revolution. Remember the 1857 revolution? How did it start? Because people would spread awareness about the British rule, and they would tell us that how many atrocities the British rule is having on the country. So let's bring a change. Let's remove the Britishers. Let's ask them to quit India. That is to bring a change. To question. To question is there are some issues where I'm not happy. It's just like RTI, right to information. So if I have to ask somebody, then I have to use communication. Next is socialize. Socialize is meeting friends, talking. You're using TikTok, you're using Snapchat, you're using WhatsApp, you're using Discord. All that is also communication. And last but not the least is to learn. So if I'm in a classroom, I'm in a workshop, I'm basically learning. There is somebody who's an expert on that field, in that topic, and we are learning from that person. Got it? So these are my thoughts. So if you have a question on why do we need to communicate in daily life, you can use each of these points and just write one or two lines on them and you are done with the answer. Just remember, your answers have to be aligned with the weightage of the question. For a 1 mark question, don't write 20 lines. Nobody wants 20 lines. It's a 1 mark question. Answer bhi 1 mark jitna hi hona chahiye. Okay. Now, quickly tell me, can you think of more reasons we need to communicate besides the verbs I have given you? Yes, Sakshi. Done. Honey, I've just seen your message for the first time, so I don't know if it's visible. ठीक है प्रणव, क्लियर है बिल्कुल. श्रुति, कुणाल, अगर पढ़ाई करोगे, आंसर अच्छा लिखोगे, फुल मार्क्स आ जाएंगे. ओके, नितिन सेज टू लाफ. यू कम्युनिकेट टू लाफ. किसी को कुछ हंसाने के लिए कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, लाइक स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी यू मीन? Yes, Kishan, to answer. Very good. Somebody has asked you a question and you have to answer. So that's good way of communicating. To develop communication skills, of course, Farheen, if I have to become a good speaker, if I want to stand in an audience and talk to them confidently, I have to know communication. To explain, yes, Trisha, very good. To build trust, wonderful answer, Himanshu. Communicate karne se hi you can build trust. The moment there is lack of communication, it might lead to misunderstandings. So to avoid misunderstandings, like Aditya has said, and to build trust, like Himanshu has said, we need to communicate. These are wonderful answers. Okay, Shrut is like a complete businessman. He says to do business. अब business करने के लिए तो communicate करना ही पड़ेगा. You have a client, you have a vendor, you have a supplier. To discuss your business deals about mergers and acquisitions, you have to communicate. Namrata, I just love your answer. To coordinate. There is going to be a festival organized in my college. How do I arrange the festival? I have to coordinate with different teams. Which team is taking part of the debate session? Which team is taking care of the sport? Which team is taking care of the chief guest? That coordination requires a lot of communication. Very good, Namrata. Very well answered. To advertise, yes, Aisha. So I have a new product. I've come up with a new chocolate, which is much better than dairy milk. How can I tell you? I have to tell you by communication. Either I show you a picture, or I give you some nice feedback, or I play a jingle in the radio, but I have to communicate, isn't it? Okay. Muskan, abhi to answer aaya nahi hai, but this question of yours is visible. Okay, to give ideas, to advertise, to educate someone. Yes, Nikunj. So suppose I'm communicating because I want you to learn about BCR as a subject. So this is communication, and probably you are getting educated. I hope you all are getting educated. Abhishek, what do I have to explain? Ek baar bata do, please. To give information, to warn, yes, movies mein hota hai, Nihal. To warn, to convince. Very good answer, Anamika. To convince. So if I have to tell people that you have to use renewable resources of energy, so let's not use coal and let's not use fossil fuels because they're causing a lot of environmental pollution. Let's use more about solar power and hydel power and tidal power. I'm telling you, I'm informing you. So that's what I have to tell people. Information देने के लिए, awareness spread करने के लिए भी we need to communicate. Okay, Ritu says to associate. Very good. So if you have two associations coming together for a business deal, without association, without communication, you cannot have that. Okay. So all your answers are just amazing. I think you guys can come and join me for taking the session. You all are giving me very nice answers. So if you have so much knowledge, why are you worried about the paper? You already know all about it. We just have to organize our answers, put them in such a way that the answer looks presentable and you get full marks, because knowledge you all have. Okay, one last point I want to highlight, which Gufran has said, to guide. Okay, sometimes what happens is we go the wrong way. So I have to guide my people, my community, my juniors, that you are taking the wrong track. Like parents are always guiding their children. For that you need to communicate. And of course, Rochelle, you've given me a nice reason to complain. So I'm facing some issues with my colleagues. I'm not happy with the system. I'm not happy in the place where I'm staying. I'm not happy with somebody's work. So I'm going to complain. अब complain करने के लिए you won't run behind the person with the stick. डंडा लेके तो नहीं भागोगे ना, आप बात करोगे. You'll raise a complaint, you'll write a complaint, you'll file a complaint, but all that has to be by means of words, written or spoken. That is communication, and that's why we need communication. Very good. So thank you so much, all of you, for all these perfect answers, perfect reasons why we need to communicate. Everybody has given me a novel answer. I wish I could have read all these. I've got at least 50 different answers. I have written only seven or eight. I've got like 45 more answers in different words: management, advice karna, clarity lana, to make friends, to make awareness, to complain, to lead a team. You all have given me such noble answers. I'm going to take them down and use them in my slide. Thank you very much, Rishu, Pranay, Preeti, Rahul. Fighting is a communication, Pranay, but that's an unpleasant communication. Okay, so we don't consider it to be as part of good business communication. It's an unpleasant way of communicating because it's more about showing anger. That's why you are fighting. Okay, so on that note, let's not fight. Let's not have difference of opinion. Let's be on the same page. And thank you so much right now. So currently, I would like you to take a 5-minute break so that we all are refreshed, and we'll continue from here, from this slide of number 5 to the other part of it. Thanks all for whatever you have shared with me. I hope everything is going well till now. I hope you don't have any concerns. I hope you are in the grip of the class, and see you soon in 5 minutes. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, students, welcome back after a short Kit Kat break. So I hope all of you are with me on the same page. We have understood, we have accepted what each other are saying. We've understood what is communication, and you all will start communicating very nicely henceforth. Okay. Okay, so now I'm seeing some new messages. Just give me a minute. Let me check if there's anything important. Otherwise, we'll continue. Thank you, Ashutosh. I'm also enjoying. Thanks, Shruti. How many pages? How do I know how many pages, Aditya? You have the study material. You can check what is the number of pages you want to count. Chanchal, classes कैसे लगने वाले? How does, I mean, I'm not very sure. I'm sorry. What do I have to answer about that? Okay, consistence in, Nisarga, right? Yes, I'm seeing your answers. Thank you, Ayushi. I'm enjoying too. See, Sindhu, when you see the test papers, when you see the mock test papers, you will realize what kind of a questions you will be getting it. We'll tell you when you want to write, Tarun. You want me to write something? I didn't get what you said. No, not necessarily. The textbook questions are practice questions. If you have studied the whole book and the whole chapter, if you have attended the classes, I am giving you hints right now what kind of questions are available, isn't it? So you don't have to worry about that. You just have to be very sure about the chapter. When you've read the chapter, you have to memorize some answers. For example, what is communication? Why do we need to communicate? How many types of communication are there? Difference between formal and informal communication, difference between verbal and non-verbal communication. These are the kind of questions which we will ask you, and everything is coming from the study material only. Just that your style of answering and your presentation should be so appealing that you don't go wrong and you don't lose marks. Okay. Muskan, you can make notes. ICI book is enough. Yes, Ashutosh, it's enough. Haneen, I just saw your message. Yes, Balaji. Question is a verb, Namrata, because it's like this is a question. So it's an object. Hence, question is a noun. But if you say, I am questioning you, that becomes a verb. The word question is a noun, but the act of questioning is a verb because some action is taking place. Okay. See, as a beginner, if you have to speak, first of all, you have to start speaking and you have to read a lot of English books, read a lot of current affairs, read a lot of newspapers. Then your language will improve. Once your language improves, you will not feel bad and hesitant about speaking. Okay. Fine. So let's continue with this. We'll see what all we can do. Thank you, Anjum. I'm also enjoying. Kushi, you can check the schedule. I'm not aware about all these technical details. You can check your schedule and see what class is being scheduled when. I have a class with you for communication for 3 days. So I can tell you about that. Today is 22nd. I have one on 24th and I have one on 26th. Okay, I hope that answers your question partly. Beyond that, you please have to check your schedule. Fine. Chalo, let's move on. Anne Frank is a very good book. The Diary of Anne Frank, you mean, Ashutosh. It's a good book. It talks about the atrocities of the Nazis over the Jews. It talks a lot about Hitler. It talks about the problems Germany was facing at that time. You can read the book. Yes, mostly Ritu. Yes, all shuns are nouns, like, an association, organization, corporation, communication, all come under the noun. Nikunj, let's say newspapers. You tell me, which newspapers do you read, Nikunj? Which one do you read? Thanks, Akshata. See, interaction is the first rule for communication. If I'm not interacting, you will not understand anything. And that's not my goal. My goal is when the class ends, you all should be waiting for the next class and you all should come up with more energy and more enthusiasm so that we learn faster. Right, Akshata? So I agree with you. Hindu, okay, Sakti says Hindu. Thanks, Akshata. Okay, Hindu. See, a daily newspaper which has good English, like Times of India and HT, is good. But if you really are at a level where you can understand little more difficult English, little more refined English, then please read the Hindu. Got it? Okay, so let's take it forward from this slide. This is clear. You all also gave me a lot of answers for the need to communicate. So if I ask you a simple question, what is the need for communication? 2 marks. Will you be able to answer that? We need, first of all, tell me what is communication in one line. After that, immediately start telling me what is the need to communicate. You can just take up any 3 to 4 topics on why do you need to communicate. You don't have to write everything. So to question, you can talk about bring a change, you can talk about a revolution, you can talk about to interact. Any 1 to 2 points can be highlighted, the rest can be listed. First line should be what is communication, just to begin your answer in an introductory way, and then start with the need for communication. Okay. Economic Times. Kishan, but Economic Times ka problem ye hai that you get only economic news. So please read a daily newspaper also. अंशुमन डेली न्यूज़पेपर्स पढ़ सकते हो स्टडी मटेरियल में यू कैन इफ यू जस्ट वांट टू improve your business English you can take up any books which are catering to business English language and vocabulary के लिए you can take up Norman Louis word power made easy you can read short stories and novels by Sudha Murthy all this will help you improve your language. No, Sayali, don't have to write it. Anjum, what book are you reading? Please, Ali, don't write. The PPT will be uploaded. Hindustan Times. So, Abhishek, why is communication needed? For all these reasons. That's why I'm telling you. So, my simple question is, अगर आपसे कोई पूछता है, why do you have to communicate? आपका answer क्या होगा? Because I have to learn, because I have to inform, because I have to interact, because I have to express my thoughts, because I want to chat with my friend, because I want to go out and meet my relatives and enjoy with them in a party. All this is the reason why we need to communicate. ठीक है? Shruti, you can say it's a universal process, but universal is a very bigger umbrella word. So what do you mean by a universal process? जो सब जगह हो रहा है, जो हर चीज में जरूरी है, business में, learning में, education में, everywhere. If that's what you mean, then you can say it's a universal process. Yes, Ayushi, you can give that line as your first line and then you can move forward. Chalo, now next is know the purpose of communication. Now, when I'm communicating, suppose class may, my purpose is to impart some knowledge. My purpose is to enlighten you. My purpose is to make sure that आप सबको समझ आ रहा है and you are all at a stage where you can answer a paper of BCR and you can get good marks. So मुझे अपना purpose पता है. What about you guys? You know the purpose of interaction. When you're talking to a friend, you should know the purpose. So there are various purposes enlisted why we need to communicate. First is for business reasons, of course. You need to communicate because you want to grow your business. I think Shrut said that you have to, expand your business. You have to open more offices. You have to open more branches. You want to have more deals. So I have to communicate. And if you are in an organization also, you have to bring more numbers. You have to generate more revenue. That becomes business. Personal is basically when I'm talking to my parents, my relatives, my friends. I want to talk to them about something I'm feeling good about. I want to inform. I want to ask them when is somebody's wedding. I want to ask them when are you coming home. I want to tell them I'm coming home on so and so date. That is all personal information. ठीक है? All of you do that. Personally interact करते हो ना अपने family members से and सबसे. Third is general. General is like, you're just standing on the bus stop and you're talking to somebody, or just a casual discussion with anybody you know. It's not personal, it's not business, it's just about current affairs. अच्छा country में क्या हो रहा है, cricket में क्या हो रहा है, Olympics कब हो रहे हैं, T20 में इंडिया क्यों हार गई. Anything about general here and there talk is the reason for communication. The last is educational, which we are dealing with, where we are trying to impart knowledge You are trying to tell me something more. So both ways there is knowledge of exchange of knowledge and information happening. So school, college, institute, wherever there is an educational source behind the communication, that's the purpose. Okay. So all this is basically, unless you know why you are communicating, your communication does not happen properly. So knowing the purpose of communication is very, very important. You all get it? Now, when you see the picture here on my slide, it talks about the purpose. And then it has all those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagons around. Hexagon mein kya likha hai? Is the purpose to educate? Is the purpose to convey a message? Is my purpose to influence you? You know, these days you have these influencers, YouTube influencers. Is the purpose to inform? Is the purpose to market as an advertise? कोई product है, आप उसको marketing कर रहे हो, you are telling people about it. Or is the purpose to impart is like a knowledge. So I'm having a yoga session and I want to impart the knowledge of yoga and meditation, so I'm going to communicate with you. ठीक है? Besides this, you can tell me if you know of other reasons why we need to communicate. कोई और purpose, कोई और motive है, please share it in the comment box. Aditya, sorry, it doesn't mean unknown. Known के साथ भी आप generalize कर सकते हो communication को, but it doesn't have any agenda. Okay, you're just asking, अच्छा और बताओ कैसे हो, how are you, what's going on, what's happening in your life, like general. Okay, it's neither very personal, it's not very business. That's called general. Not necessarily you are talking to people unknown, but the idea or the agenda behind the communication is unknown. Okay. For direction, ठीक है Nitin, good. Instruct. Okay, so Aishwarya, instruct would probably come under educate, because you know instructions teachers देते हैं, school में headmistress देती है, या college में principal देते हैं, so it's part of education. Motivate. Okay, Manmohan. RP also says motivate. To meet social expectations, Preeti, so what do you mean by social expectations? Come under the personal category. That I have to call my aunt to wish her on her birthday. I have to call my uncle to inquire about his ill health. That is social expectations. Okay. That comes under personal. Awareness ho gaya na. Impart is awareness, isn't it? Ritu. हाँ आयुष, अभी तो पूछा आपने ना, is my question visible so I can see it? Muskan, media. What is media? Why is media related to the purpose here? Sindhu, what is the hurry? How many topics I will cover, how many chapters I will cover, you will get to know gradually. Abhi, let's concentrate on this. Okay, to teach, to share ideas, to connect, to spread awareness. Okay, Rahul. बहुत सारी business magazine अच्छी हैं आदिश्री. You can read Frontline, you can read Business Today, Business India, कुछ भी पढ़ो. As long as you understand it and you're getting a lot of information, it's good. ठीक है, personal and general. Okay, Rochelle has asked a question. What is the difference between personal and general? General hota hai where it's not related to me, myself, and my family. That's general. Let's talk about the weather today. Let's talk about a building construction. Let's talk about something happening in some remote area of the country. General discussions. Personal hai, I'm going through some problem. I'm going through something good. I have an exam date. I have an interview. Something happening in my family. That's personal. ठीक है, Rochelle? Okay. Shakil says media is mass communication. हाँ ठीक है. Okay, so you all have got to know the purpose. समझ आ गया सबको कि purpose पता होना चाहिए. बिना purpose के communicate करना is a waste of time, money, energy, everything. If you know the purpose, you will be able to deliver your thoughts in the right way. If you don't know the purpose, then you will keep thinking कि why am I talking? अगर इस point of the class में at 12:30 if I think, you know, why am I doing this class? मुझे तो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा मैं ये communication कर क्यों रही हूँ. then there is lack of purpose. But if I know my purpose, I'm addressing a set of CA aspirants. They all are going to become CAs at some point of time with good marks, and they'll probably get ranks in CA. And they all need to know about communication. मुझे मेरा purpose पता है. So I will deliver my best. ऐसे ही क्लास में आके ऐसे ही कुछ भी बोलेंगे, then I don't know my purpose. Got it? You understood the difference? Pakka? Everybody is clear? Everybody has understood what I'm trying to convey? Okay. How can communication influence? Well, Sunil, if I'm talking to you about something and I'm trying to convince you कि जो मैं बोल रही हूँ, that only is correct, what you are saying is completely wrong. I'm trying to change your ideas. I'm trying to manipulate your thoughts. I'm trying to mold your ideas. That is influence. ठीक है? Understood? Soumya, Anshu, thank you so much. You've understood. Thanks, Shruti, and thanks, Preeti. Riya, abhi to aa raha hai. Okay, thanks, Jinal, Tarun, Ritu. Thank you so much, Vandana and Kashish. Okay, great. So it's clear. Moving on. Types of communication. This is a very basic slide. Now you see, I'll show you a difference. एक ये slide है, types of communication, where I'm talking about communication which is based on the channel. How am I communicating? The means, the mode of communication, which is this is basically communication channel. इसका मतलब mode of communication. Okay, this is the purpose, which is basically aiming at the reason. Clear hai sabko? Right? What is based on communication channel? How am I communicating? Words use करे, expressions use करे, book use करी, message use करा, images दिखाई, movies दिखाए, advertisement दिखाया, PPT दिखाया, billboards दिखाया, flyer दिखाया, pamphlet दिखाया, brochure दिखाया, essay पढ़वाया, article पढ़वाया. That is mode of communication, whether it is verbal, non-verbal or visual. Clear? Can you think of 5 examples? 5 examples for visual communication. Visual is what you see. Anything related to the eye which I can see is called visual. Okay, can you tell me 5 examples for visual? Jaldi batao. Where would you get the slide? Bharat, slides will be uploaded. You can check them on YouTube, okay? जो ICI का YouTube channel है, उस पे slides upload हो जाएंगी. I'm waiting for answers. What is visual communication? अपनी understanding से बताओ. Graphical representation, okay. Advertisement, I can take it. Graph, pie chart, Venn diagram, वो सब I'm taking in one only. उसके लिए अलग अलग आंसर नहीं बोलेंगे कि Venn diagram अलग है, statistics अलग है, linear अलग है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. But that is all in one. Drawing, ठीक है. Television, okay. Maps, very good. Movies, images, very good. Advertisement, traffic signal, as in red light, green light, orange light. Squid Games चल रहा है ये. Okay, online classes. Okay, Trisha has given me a good answer. Movies, advertisement, cartoon, newspaper, leaflet. She is the only person who understood my question. The question said 5 means of visual. She has given me 5 means of visual. जब 5 means question में है तो answer 5 में ही आना चाहिए ना. If you give me one answer like TV news and PPT and circus, तो फिर 5 तो answer नहीं बना. Please understand. Question is asking about 5. Your answer should be 5. Don't say that I'm giving you one by one. It doesn't work like that. Good job, Trisha. Rochelle has done that also. Hansika has done that now. Uh, ठीक है. So many of you have given me a nice answer. Pie chart bola, banners bola, graphic drawings bola, symbols bola, illustrations. Very good. That's a nice thing, Ananya. Direction Sakti. Okay. Then movies, advertisement, puppet show. तो ठीक है मनमोहन. और क्या है? Zoom, Google Meet, YouTube Live. निकुंज, that you are going to the digital part of it. ठीक है, मुझे चाहिए visual जहाँ पे advertisement हो. Then you can simply say online interactions. You don't have to mention like Google Meets and Zoom and all that. Okay. Pamphlets is a good answer. हाँ, फरहीन बताओ, what's your doubt? What's your doubt? Tell me quickly. Ayushi, is there a doubt? हाँ, billboards, very good. Flyers, very good. ठीक है. Mind maps, Venn diagrams, image, flowchart, GIFs, ठीक है. Pluck cards नहीं, play cards. PLACARDS. ठीक है. Posters. Okay. So all of you have given me a good answer for visual. So visual is wherever eyes को appeal कर रहा है, that is called visual. So if I give you a small half mark question, what is visual communication? Can you answer that? Can you write 2 to 3 lines on visual communication with examples? Examples आप लोगों ने मुझे दे दिए हैं. Can you write an answer now? Okay. Any means of communication which appeals to the eye, comma, it is visible and it is more about pictures and graphs and images is called visual communication. Example, posters, advertisements, and what all have you said? Brochures, leaflets, all this is visual communication. ठीक है. रेनी क्लाउड्स, ये कहां से आ गया मेघना? ओके. यस. सो शिवम, क्या होता है, कॉन्वर्सेशन कुछ भी आप सुन रहे हो उसको आप रिपीट में देख रहे हो, जैसे द द रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर यू सेइंग, जहां पे भी दिख रहा है एंड दैट इज कम्युनिकेटिंग समथिंग, द इमेज. So you have to focus more on the image than listening to recorded lectures as being part of visual communication. ठीक है? Okay. When two strangers talk about personal information, what is it? It is personal information communication. ना उसमें what is it का क्या मतलब हुआ, फरहीन? I didn't get your question. हाँ, when you are understanding the message by means of a picture, आपको देख के समझ आ रहा है कि अच्छा ठीक है, ये नया चिप्स का पैकेट आया है, इसके 10 रुपीज हैं, इसके साथ कैशबैक मिल रहा है, इसकी एक्सपायरी ये है, उसको एडवर्टाइज कर रहे हैं लाइक अ स्किट. दैट इज विजुअल कम्युनिकेशन. Okay, now let's come to non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is what? Where you have used a lot of gestures and facial expressions like traffic signal, like interacting with the deaf and the dumb community because they can't speak, or maybe you're doing some kind of a game like dumb charades. वो सब non-verbal में आता है. Okay. The other style is which we are basing ourselves on the purpose and the style. मतलब formal and informal. Formal में क्या होगा? We are going to deal with the office setup where we are at a workplace. Workplace में मतलब we are in the office, we are writing a mail to a client, we are writing a mail to a vendor, we are writing a letter to our boss is giving us instructions, contracts हो गए, deals हो गई, business meetings हो गई, seminars हो गए, workshops हो गए. All this is formal communication. It can be written, it can be spoken. वो तो we have understood. ठीक है, I'm not going to repeat that. वो तो understood है कि written भी होगा, spoken भी होगा. That is formal. Where a lot of official aspect is added, we call it formal style. Informal उसका बिल्कुल opposite होता है. When I'm writing to my friend, when I'm writing to my neighbor, when I'm writing to my relative, जहाँ पे casual है, जहाँ पे मुझे strict rules नहीं follow करनी. I can start with a hi, I can end with a bye. जो कि मैं ऑफिस मेल्स में नहीं कर सकती. दैट इज इनफॉर्मल. सो वेर एवर देर इज लैक ऑफ फॉर्मल बिजनेस स्टाइल, दैट बिकम्स इनफॉर्मल. ठीक है. हैव यू एवर रिटन लेटर्स विच आर फॉर्मल? बिकॉज अभी लेटर राइटिंग बहुत रिडंडेंट हो गया है. नॉट मेनी ऑफ यू राइट लेटर्स. यू आर मोस्टली इनटू राइटिंग emails and short messages. It's the time of all digitalized. It's a digitalized world, I think, right? So you write a WhatsApp and it quickly reaches, and then you start waiting for blue ticks. Utna fast chalta hai, and you all don't even have the patience of waiting for a blue tick. So once you see a blue tick, you start expecting replies as if वो supersonic jet की speed पे reply आएगा. Please, when you write a message, always have the patience and the courtesy to wait for some time to get a reply, because these habits also get reflected when you're working in an organization. So you write an email, you want the person to read the email, understand it, comprehend it, and then give a feedback, then give a reply. Every time you hurry and you want an answer, it's not a good idea. Okay. So now quickly tell me how many of you have written formal business letters somewhere? हाँ खुशी, relative के साथ it is informal. Okay, Hansika has given me a good answer. When you write to the school's dean, college में you have a dean or you have a principal or a school principal. When you write to them, or when you write to the management for some kind of a request or a feedback or a complaint, that's a formal letter. Very good. Yes, Tazeen, that's the most, that's the funniest thing we do. We write an email. Very good, Tazeen. She's given a nice answer. You write an email and then you call that person and then you say, मैंने email किया है, please देख लो. If you anywhere were going to call, why don't you discuss it on phone only? Because Rochelle, what happens is visual में there might be words. There might be a song. There might be a jingle playing. जैसे advertisement में होता है. Picture हो सकती है, blink कर रही है, poster हो सकता है. Visual is that. Non-verbal में it's more about gestures and facial expressions and body language. So these are all interconnected. ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल discrete है कि non-verbal cannot be visual and visual cannot be non-verbal. ऐसा नहीं है. But visual are those जहाँ पे only appealing to the eye वाला communication हो रहा है. Okay, appealing to the eye. Visible तो सब कुछ ही होगा. हाँ, yes, Ayushi, you want to say something? Buddha Reddy, you've joined late. Okay, so many of you are telling me that you've written letters to banks, which is good. हाँ, ऑफिस सेक्रेटरी को लिखना, रेजिग्नेशन. ऋषु, अभी you've not even started a job, why are you getting into resignation? वो सब बाद में बात करेंगे, please. So Nihal, this is like one-sided communication. If somebody is talking in French and you don't understand and you're simply standing blank, then that's not communication because the message has not been delivered. That's like a broken communication. जैसे circuit break होता है ना, वैसे it's called a broken communication. No, video calls are not verbal visual communication. देखो communication में जरूरी नहीं है कि you are just seeing the face through an image or a video. Zoom meetings and Google Meets and Teams पे जो आप बात कर रहे हो ना, this is just a way of using a platform. Visual is more about the picture appealing to you. So I taking an online class is not visual communication, because even if I'm studying in a physical class, I'm visible, the students are visible. But visual communication में होता है कि by means of an image or a GIF or an advertisement or a brochure, I'm telling you what exactly the product is and I want to communicate something. ठीक है? हाँ. Okay, Anshuman. So I've explained non-verbal and visual. Everything might not be completely discrete. Visual can be thoda sa part of non-verbal. Non-verbal can be part of visual. broadly आपको categories समझ आनी चाहिए. Okay, let's move on. This is a simple slide. So my purpose is if I show you this and this is a visual slide. This is probably visually better appealing because there are images. There is a cartoon strip I've tried to make. So the first one is verbal communication, where there are two people talking. You can see this first one. Let me just annotate. This is suppose the first one according to me. This is non-verbal, where there is a couple, they are holding hands. So there is some kind of a romantic feeling coming out. So we call it non-verbal because the feelings are coming out themselves. Then comes the third one, the visual one, because he's seeing something on screen. It might be an image, it might be an advertisement, it might be some kind of a picture coming and writing a letter to the boss. This is written. So I've given you example for each of them. Verbal क्या है, non-verbal क्या है, visual क्या है, written क्या है. Now visual का ये मत नहीं कि only देखना, because देख तो हम सब जगह सकते हैं ना. You can see verbal, you can see non-verbal, you can see the gesture, you can see the sign, but that is not visual. Visual का मतलब picture के mean से I am trying to communicate. Diagram के mean से I am trying to communicate. Flow chart के mean से I am trying to communicate. GIF के mean से I'm trying to communicate. That is visual. Mean के form में I'm trying to communicate. Okay, got the difference, everybody? Clear? Smileys are visual. Yes, Nitin, smileys are visual. So when you put these smileys and emojis in WhatsApp, जब आप friends को लिखते हो, you have these smileys for, laughing, jealousy, sad, unhappy, oh my god, all that. LOLs, that is visual. Okay. नहीं आदित्य, visual is not imagination. Imagination का तो इसमें कोई रोल ही नहीं है. Imagine तो कुछ करना ही नहीं है. This is all factual. ठीक है, चलो, let's move forward. So see, एक difference I wanted to say. This is one slide which talks of types of communication, where I've listed the 4: verbal, non-verbal, written, visual. And a slide just before that, this is so basic. So you see the difference. The moment I use colors, the moment I use pictures, the moment I use a cartoon kind of a thing, it becomes visually appealing. ये बहुत छोटा है. It's just 4 words: verbal, non-verbal, written, visual. And here it's very bland. So there is also a difference between making a good slide and a bad slide, which is visually appealing and which is not appealing. I wouldn't want to read a slide like this because it's taking time. I would definitely want to read a slide like this. That's the difference. Hand signs is non-verbal, emojis is visual. Okay, Kanishka? See, Krishan, क्या होता है? Video call में you are using the online medium. अब अगर आप क्लासरूम में हो तब भी आपका फेस दिख रहा है ना, तो विजुअल तो वो भी हुआ. So what is the difference? Why only video calls? Dream, Rishu, dream to your dream, no? How do I know you are communicating something? That's between you and your transcendental realm. मुझे नहीं पता कौन किसको क्या communicate करेगा फिर. Okay. So this is done. Let's move on to the next part of it. I'll finish this medium of communication. I have verbal communication, which I'll start in the next class because this is going to take time. Verbal communication में oral and written कैसे चलता है? We'll discuss the verbal part of it. This is all oral, the features, then this is all written, and that would be the end. Okay. So to end the class today, we'll just discuss the medium of communication because many of you have been discussing that you are unable to speak English, you are unable to deliver properly. So for that reason, I'm telling you all this. Okay? Yes, TV ads are visual, Shakti. Good. Oral comes under verbal. Yes, Adishri, you are correct. Okay. Now, what am I trying to say here? First of all, your medium of communication should be business language because we are all aiming to be good managers, good CAs, good professionals. When you join an organization, आप ऐसे casually नहीं बोल सकते hi, LOL, ROFL, IDK. All this is not allowed. You have to be using business English. For that matter, please be very sure that you have a strong command over language. जो भी आप बोल रहे हो, it's correct grammatically, vocabulary wise, diction wise. It's having a pleasing effect on the audience. Then it is good English, and you are delivering it from a very formal point of view. That's the first. Second is new jargon. What is jargon? Jargon is basically when I'm using words specific to a subject. जैसे medicine से related words है, economics से related word है. So I should know what is FDI. I should know what is GST. I should know what is Bitcoin. All these are jargons because these are words which not everybody would know. अगर मैं इकोनॉमिक्स की बात कर रही हूँ तो मुझे पता होना चाहिए व्हाट इज मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स, व्हाट इज माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स. सो आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट अ जार्गन. अगर मैं लैंग्वेज की बात कर रही हूँ, सो आई शुड नो व्हाट इज अ फॉर्मल स्टाइल, व्हाट इज अ इनफॉर्मल स्टाइल. I should know what is syntax, what is diction, what is pronunciation, what is grammar, what is vocabulary. So for every subject, उसके कुछ अपने specific words and terminology होती है जो एक common man को भी पता होना चाहिए. That is what you have to keep yourself updated with. For that, you should be reading newspapers. We've already done a discussion on newspapers, so वो जरूर पढ़ना है. Next class में I will begin by asking you the current news of that day. So today is Monday. Today is Tuesday. We have a class. We just had a class on Tuesday. Next class will be Thursday, which is going to be 24th of November. So 24th of November को आप लोग सब उस दिन की current affairs की या कोई भी ऐसी important news पढ़ के आओगे. I'm going to ask you questions on that. Okay? Then we'll discuss more about jargon. Dramatically means what twists and turns के साथ पूरा drama हो गया उसमें. That is dramatically. Okay? Yes, Manika. So special words is jargons. Any word or group of words which are associated with a particular subject or genre or domain is known as jargon. Third is no slangs. Slangs nahi chalenge. Workplace is what we are targeting. The whole purpose of having this class of communication is how can you communicate at workplace. आप घर पे कैसे बात करते हो, अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ कैसे बात करते हो, आई डोंट नो, आई डोंट वांट टू नो. But yes, when you are in an organization, you are working in the likes of Deloitte and Cognizants and PwCs and Grant Thorntons, how will you deliver? How will you present? ऐसे नहीं होता और यार क्या चल रहा है. Don't do it like that. It's an office. There is a boss. There is some kind of a formality. There is some kind of a seniority. There is some kind of a mannerism you have to talk with. For that reason, your language should be polished. अच्छी language बोलो, refined बोलो. It's not like you should sound like a guru कि कोई ज्ञान मिल रहा है. But जो भी बोलोगे ऐसा बोलो कि you should not regret your words. That is the third point. Fourth point is slang is informal language which we don't consider good, which is not formal, which is not part of the dictionary. Okay? Nuances means very, very small details. That is nuances. हाँ आदित्य बोलो, what question do you have? Example of jargon अभी तो दिया वर्णिका. Suppose I'm talking of micro and macro economics. So जो economics का student होगा उसको पता होगा micro macro क्या होता है. Somebody who's reading economic times उसको पता होगा what is FDI, what is GST. कॉमर्स वालों को पता होगा. साइंस वाले स्टूडेंट की जार्गन में होगा बॉटनी क्या है, जीनस क्या है, स्पीशीज क्या है, डीएनए क्या है. These are words related to that particular subject. Okay? Okay, fourth says hone your skills. अब hone your skills में क्या होता है? Hone means to make them better, to polish them, to improve. So if my communication skills are good, 5 लोग मेरे सामने आ जाते हैं and मैं उनसे इतने आराम से बात कर लेती हूँ बिना डरे, I break the ice, I break the barrier, मुझे confident लगता है कि yes, I can talk. For that reason, I have to talk. तो communication skills better करने के लिए interpersonal क्या होता है? Between two people. That's what interpersonal means. So when I'm joining an office as a new joinee, I don't know people in the office. तो मैं क्या करूंगी? I have to break the ice. I have to go and start talking. I have to feel confident. That is what you have to keep upgrading. डरना नहीं है, हेजिटेट नहीं करना है, इंफीरियोरिटी नहीं फील करनी है, शर्म नहीं आनी है. जस्ट फील कॉन्फिडेंट एंड एंथुजियास्टिक एंड गो एंड टॉक टू पीपल. Know your language, know and think well before you speak. That makes you confident. And last but not the least is slang bataya Shakti. I just told you slang means informal, rough language, which is not part of the English dictionary, which is all casual usage. The kind of language you use in WhatsApp, like IDK, LOL, ROFL, these are all slang words. We don't allow them at workplace. Boss ko mail mein LOL nahi likh sakte. Okay. And the last is the nuances of workplace communication. Matlab, nuances means finer details, barik cheezein. So workplace mein, how do I have to conduct? If I'm writing a mail to my junior, how will I do it? If I'm writing a mail to my client, how will I do it? If I have to go and speak to my boss, how will I do it? If I have to go and speak to somebody who is senior, but I don't know him, how will I do it? If I have to speak to somebody who is in the office, who's taking a seminar, how do I do it? So workplace में कैसे कैसे अपने आप को conduct करना है, कहाँ कितना बोलना है, कितना stop करना है, कैसे words use करने हैं, कितना friendly होना है, those are the nuances of workplace communication, because आपके speech से, आपके non-verbal gestures से पता चलता है about your personality. All that should be under your control. You should have control over yourself like the ringmaster in a circus. पता होना चाहिए किस time पे कितना deliver करना है. Okay, that's about medium of communication. Hone means to improve, to get better, to polish. Yes. Nuances means finer details. ठीक है. Abbreviated क्या आदित्य? I didn't get it. हाँ रितु, correct. Nuances का example बताया अभी राहुल. The finer details of how you have to make sure communication is correct at workplace. Workplace means office. Adishri, slangs is like, the kind of words and language you use in WhatsApp. That is good enough examples. Nuances का कोई example नहीं होता रितु. Nuances is basically the finer details of your working style, your speaking style, your writing style in office. फॉर्मल मेल्स कैसी लिखनी है, बिजनेस मेल्स कैसी लिखनी है, रिपोर्ट में क्या लिखना है, डिस्कशन में कितना बोलना है, एड्रेस कैसे करना है बॉस को, जूनियर्स को कैसे डील करना है, स्पीच एंड राइटिंग को ध्यान में रखते हुए. ठीक है. ओके, सो विद दैट आई कम टू द एंड ऑफ द सेशन. Whatever is left, we'll carry it forward. Just remind me, we have done till medium of communication today. After this, whatever we have is verbal and non-verbal. We'll take that in the next class on Thursday. Please come prepared with your doubts. First 5 minutes, I'm going to ask you about the news and you will communicate that to me. Second 10 minutes, I'm going to deal with your doubts from today's class. After the first 15 minutes are done, we'll begin with the continuation of the session. Okay, so thank you so much. I really had a good time. ASAP is more like an abbreviation, so it's officially accepted. So that's not a slang. ठीक है राजेंद्र? Pronunciation is not a problem. जितना आप बात करोगे, जितना आप language को confidently use करोगे, you will be able to pronounce words correctly. Okay, for that reason, you have to be speaking. You have to be watching English movies, English episodes, English news. उससे आपका confidence बढ़ेगा because you will understand how to use the word. Okay, guys. So thank you so much. It was just amazing. Thanks, Geenal. Thank you for you were among the first ones to join. Thanks, Rishu. I really appreciate all the knowledge you have given, all the interaction you have done. This communication was hopefully two-sided. I'm trying my best to involve you. And once the session starts at a good note, we are going to have a roller coaster. Every class will ensure that you are giving me your inputs. I don't want to make it a one-way traffic. जितना आपको पता है, आप भी बताओ. जितना मुझे पता है, I am telling you. Then you will be perfect in communication. एक बार notes को पढ़ लेना. Question answers आराम से हो जाएंगे. Please refer to the study material. It's so very nicely made. सारे questions cover होते हैं MTPs में, RTPs में. अच्छे से पढ़ोगे, you will get good marks in the BCR paper. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. All the best for the day and tomorrow and for your future sessions. And I'm going to see you on Thursday. Thanks a lot. Hope you had a great time.